or freedom and fairness. Do your policies reflect that?
I don't think our policies clearly identified the difference between what that means for the Australian people versus what the other offerings were. So we really needed to actually couch and frame our policies in terms of economic opportunity, hope, welfare, how we can expand people's horizons on that front versus getting involved in culture wars, which sometimes are foisted upon us. I mean, I'm not entirely cognizant or ignorant of the fact that sometimes we end up in wars that we didn't start. But where our focus needs to be, where our electoral coalition comes together, is around questions of economic prosperity. It gets splintered when we focus on culture war issues.
Yes, it does. But, I mean, there has been some suggestion from the moderates that Peter Dutton somehow made the party way more conservative. I just don't see the evidence of that in the policies that were taken to the election. Do you?
No, I don't. I don't. And, you know, I tend not to listen to people after the election who didn't have the courage to say those things prior to the election. Yeah. So if there are people out there saying that, that's just... sorry, look, 2 months ago, we were on the verge of doing something that hasn't been done since the 1930s, which is winning government after one term of opposition. All those factors that drove that result or were driving the polls in that direction haven't changed. They're all still there. What we need to do is actually not pay attention to ourselves. We need to go and start talking to the Australian people and ask them what it is that they're looking for. Look, Laura, it's pretty simple. We need to stop talking to ourselves, about ourselves, and go out to the Australian community and say we may be fewer in number, but we have the values and the principles that you've been looking for to make your lives better and easier.